All right, since we are right at noon, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I am recording just for those of you that just have popped in, just so that you know. My name is Avra, and this session is Cami in the elementary classroom. And so I want to start out by telling you that I am a former classroom teacher, elementary. So I started my career teaching third grade. They rapidly figured out that I couldn't do cursive or long division. So they moved me down to kindergarten, and that was probably a good choice. But I loved all the different grade levels I've worked with. For the majority of my career, I was a technology teacher and technology director in my district, K through 12. So I've done all different grade levels. And I really still kind of always return to my elementary roots whenever I'm doing anything, because it's like the lowest common denominator. And I think when we can keep in mind that our littles can do this kind of stuff, but they just need some extra help, and they need patience from us, right? We have to be willing to, well, be so patient all the time anyway, but especially when it comes to technology. I know that a lot of times we say things like kids are digital natives and they know technology better than we do. And sometimes that's true. I think in general, children, kids of all ages actually are more willing to press buttons and try things out and explore without the fear of something breaking, right? So for those of us that didn't always have this technology, I'm in my late 40s, when you first got a computer, if something broke on it, you had to find someone to fix it, right? And that was hard. Kids don't necessarily come at life from that perspective. They just kind of press buttons and figure it's going to work, because technology is so different than it was even 25 years ago. So what I want to do in this session is talk about how we can utilize Cami with our youngest learners, and talk about the things that Cami gives us that can be supportive for them. Okay. So if you haven't already, do me a favor and click on this document. Am I in the right spot? I am, right? All right. I'm just looking to see. Katrina, can you confirm that like the link that we're sharing is this one that I'm looking at? I'm right? I didn't give you the wrong link, did I? NHC.
It's right.
Okay,
and
it's
it
good.
worked for me. Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. My brain's a little fried, guys. I've been I've been going all morning. So this document is a resource for you. Okay. And what it has is it has a bunch of links to more information. Okay. And one of the things that I want to point out to you first and foremost is that from this page, you'll see the words free templates. Okay. If you click on free templates, it takes you to this thing called the Cami Library. And the Cami Library has over 1,600 free resources for you. So Cami's not about starting from scratch, okay? It's not about reinventing the wheel and having to do things differently. But at the same time, if you're looking for something new and fun, there is this amazing library, and it can be sorted. If you look over on the left, it can be sorted by grade level. So you could go in and say, hey, I'm a second grade teacher, and I'm looking for ways that my kids could learn Cami. Okay. And look what you're going to get. You're actually going to get like activities that were created specifically to teach kids and to get them hands-on with Cami. Okay. So this is just one example of the oodles and oodles of resources that you will find in the Cami library. If you're looking for things that are like, back to school kinds of activities, or, drag and drop fun things, you can find that kind of stuff in here. So take a look at this. Build your own monster. Okay. How fun is this? All you have to do is click where it says open with Cami. Okay. And then it's going to load up, and it's going to save it automatically to your Google Drive. Okay. So that's what it's doing right there. And then look, we've got all these little fun drag and drop, pieces of clip art where you can kind of build your own monster. And what you would do, guys, is you would make a copy of this for each student using your learning management system. So I've been doing this all morning, and I've been talking with folks, and it sounds like there's a wide variety. Some of you use Google Classroom, some of you use Canvas or Schoology, some of you use Seesaw. And so I just want you to know that you can make copies for your kids using those learning management systems. If you are a Seesaw user, okay, it's worth mentioning that when you share this link with your students, okay, if you're doing that via Seesaw, you would go up to the share button in the top right and you'd click. Okay. And from there, we actually do have the option to create an individual copy for students. Okay. So right here, individual copy, then this link right here is something that, I could paste into Seesaw. So I'll throw it into the Kami chat in case anybody wants to build their own monster, right? You'd all get your own copy of it. Okay. So if you are someone that uses Classroom or Schoology or Canvas, you can do it in those environments as well. We probably won't take the time today to go through how to do that, but we have lots of resources, including myself. Okay. So let me just, before we jump in and actually get hands-on with Kami, let me just tell you that when you're working in Kami, you have unlimited professional learning and support. So what that means is that you can email me at any time, and I can help you, and I can, answer questions. I can, troubleshoot things like that. So please, utilize me in that way if there's anything I can do for you. While we're down here at the bottom of the page, I want to mention that there is a slide deck right here. Okay. And these slides are available for you. There's some housekeeping stuff here too for the conference. Okay. So in here is kind of, a link to, information. There's also stuff in here about credits, okay, that they're giving you, the attendance form and how to fill it out and when to fill it out and all the rules with that. They also wanted to make sure that we, thank all the donors and all the amazing sponsors of the conference today. So be aware that all that's there, okay? And then there's slides that I've created. So I'm going to start this morning by just saying to you that as an elementary teacher, when I was utilizing technology with kids, I didn't want to fall into the trap of utilizing tech just because it was there, right? Just because technology is a tool, we have it, should we use it? We know that we need to be very intentional and deliberate about when we put kids on devices versus when we're going to do things by hand, right? So what I think about is whether or not the technology, in this case, Kami, would create a functional improvement to the task. Whatever activity our kids are doing, can we improve it with the technology, with Kami? Okay. And does that improve the learning environment for kids? Does it make it more accessible for them? Does it allow us to differentiate for them? And if the answer is yes, then Kami can help and I can show you. So in these slides, and I'm not going to talk to these slides the whole time, but I just want you to know that they're here. Okay. And that you can scroll through here and get lots of ideas and lots of how-tos and, just thought processes. So be aware that those slides are there. You can access them by clicking right here on this document. Okay. So speaking of this document is also a jumping off place for us to get it hands-on with Kami. All right. So maybe some of you I've lost you because you're off building your own monster, and that's cool. If you want to do that, that's the best way to learn Kami, is to get hands-on. But for those of you that want to play along with me, click where it says collaborative activity at the top right of this green page that I shared with you. Okay. And it'll take you into a document that will say at the top, share a photo of your favorite drink. Okay. And what I want you to do is on the left-hand side, I want you to look over and see the add media tool. Okay. There is a button that says add media. And when you click on it, you'll see that you have some options. You have a G for a Google image search. You have a camera tool. If you want, I could show you like my favorite cup. So my favorite drink is ice water inside my Stanley cup. So I could take a picture if I wanted, okay? Or maybe your favorite drink is coffee, right? If you double click on your picture, guys, you will get cropping tools. You'll also see a purple dot in the bottom right corner. That purple dot will be your resizing tool, okay? Because your pictures are going to come in big and it's going to be a little messy at first. There are 2-3 pages of share your favorite drink. So if you are someone who gets overwhelmed, with all of this crazy digital collaboration and you're like, this is driving me nuts, then hop on down to page 2 or page 3 and share your favorite drink down there. Diet Coke. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I like Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, Diet Dr. Pepper, Coke Zero, pretty much anything that has caffeine and no sugar for me is kind of where I stick. Loving the Starbucks. I feel like this pretty yellow one, I think was Starbucks too, although now it's so small and I don't have my readers on, so I can't see if that's still Starbucks or not. But the lemonade looks delicious up here. So feel free to share your favorite drink. And you can tell you're such teachers because you're already like, you're resizing it, you're putting it into a little box. This little jot spot, it's called jot spot activity, like this little grid with the 32 squares in it, is from the library. Okay, so you can, if you're looking for this, if you like this, it's called jot spot, and then you can put your own words on top of it. Okay, so you can see I can move like the title down, but what's neat, you guys, is that when we're here together, if you guys go to try to click where it says share a photo of your favorite drink and you try to move my text around, you'll find that you can't do that. Okay, because this isn't your document, you're not able to change what I've done as the teacher. Okay, so if you even go and try to click on someone's coffee or someone's Starbucks or their lemonade, and you try to move their picture around, what you'll find is that you're not able to do that. Okay, you can only, when you're in a collaborative environment in Kami, you can only move your own or delete or change your own annotation. Okay. Yeah, Jennifer, I always had class numbers for my kids, right? And so you're right, that's about perfect. Jennifer, I'm glad you said that, because I bet, I'm just surmising here, but I bet that some teacher somewhere said to one of us at Kami, hey, could your library creators make just a grid with like 32 squares on it? Because a lot of us have classes of like 25 to 30 kids, and I'd love to just have that. If you have an idea like that, please email me, or you can actually email the Kami creators right from the library. You'll see down at the bottom left, there's a way to suggest more templates. So if there's something that they could make for you, please say something, because some of the best features of Kami and some of the best library templates came from a teacher, suggesting it. So they're really, really responsive. Yeah. And so, yes, you can reuse it every year. That's awesome, Kim. So, and Kim, welcome back. I think you've been here at all 3 sessions. So you guys, this is one of my favorite things, to get people in and sharing. But I want someone, and if you've been at another session, you can answer, or let's maybe let someone else figure it out. Look at the left-hand side of your screen, guys. You're going to notice that you don't have very many tools. You have the add media tool, okay? And you don't even have a way to type anything right now. And I did that by design, because I want you as elementary teachers to hear me say this. This is maybe from an elementary perspective, one of the coolest things. You can decide as the teacher which tools kids have and which tools they don't. So come on back to the Zoom for me for a second and look at my screen share, okay? And after you've looked at your toolbar, if you come over and look at mine, you're going to notice that mine is far more robust. It has a lot of stuff in it, and it's great, but your kids aren't going to need all this stuff. Look at this. We have an equation tool, okay? I could type out the quadratic formula. Is that a thing, Katrina? Anyway, I'm not a math girl, but I could type out a squared plus b squared equals c squared, okay, if I wanted to. But do your littles ever need to do that? Probably not. I could also click on the signature tool, you guys, and I could throw my signature onto a page. Oops, it's hidden there. Hold on. I could go and throw it onto a page. But do your little ones need that? Maybe not, right? So you can decide at all times what your kids have access to. Let me show you how. Up in the top right, there's a share button. Okay. It's that little less than sign that we see everywhere, like in social media, to sign or to share things with people. If you click on this, now you can see I made it. Anyone with the link is an editor, but there's this extra button that Google doesn't have that Cami does, and it's control features. I swear this is the only program I know of. And I taught technology to kids for 14 years. I would have loved to limit the toolbar in Word or in PowerPoint back in the early 2000s when I was teaching those, tools, and now slides and docs and all of that. Look at this. There's a ton of stuff in here, right? There's a drawing tool, and I can check the little box, and now you'll have it in a second. Shapes tool, eraser. Okay. I want you to play with all of that. And I want you to have a text box too. Okay. And I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and hit okay. And now I'm going to encourage you to go back to Cami, go back to your Cami window and scroll on down to one of the other pages. There's blank white ones at the bottom. Okay. And play for about 2 or 3 minutes and explore. This is a low stakes, hopefully high fun environment, which is where we should always start teaching a new application to students. When you teach kids the tool or the app at the same time as teaching them content, the cognitive load is too heavy. We learned that during remote learning, right? When we were all building the ship while we were sailing it, okay? We were all trying to learn to use Zoom, learn to use the different tools, all of that at the same time as teach our content. And everybody went home with migraines, right? Or I guess we were already home, but we ended our days frustrated, and our kids did too. And so did their parents, right? So we know that when we learn new tools, when we learn new applications, it's really important to let kids explore with a low stakes topic, something fun like share your favorite drink. Okay. So feel free, play. Oh yeah, you are good. So, beautiful treble clef. I'm always really impressed when people can draw at all, but also digitally, because I really can't. Anybody that's willing to take a picture of something in your environment, it could be a selfie, or it could be a math problem on a piece of paper. Maybe you're sitting in a class. I think you guys are probably at home, but maybe you're sitting in a classroom and you've got a whiteboard, or you've got some base 10 blocks, right? Or maybe you just draw something out and you take a picture of it. What kinds of things might you have kids do with a camera tool? For those of you that use Seesaw, you probably do this all the time, right? So thinking about letting our kids do things, I just did this really fast, but letting our kids do things on paper, because it makes more sense to do it on paper, letting our kids do things physically, like hold scissors or interact with their friends, or, do something with math manipulatives, but then maybe take a picture of it and share it, as a way to complete the work, or as a way to collaborate and share different ways or different ideas, different ways of solving problems, things like that. If you have questions, we're going to play maybe for another minute or two, and then I'm going to do a demo. But if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat, or if anybody's willing and brave and wants to unmute and let me hear your voice and ask a question, I'd love that as well.
When you were showing the library, Avra, I just got lost in all of the templates. They have added so many, and there are some really cute ones. So I threw the link in the chat for the library for you to bookmark later and come back to it, because I'm continually impressed with the types of resources they add, but just also the volume. And I know you pointed out the back to school bingo and how cute it is. I found like a decorate your own locker, which I would totally be using. There are lots of all about me templates.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the library. If you didn't see, in just a few minutes we were there, a template, definitely bookmark that link and come back, because we are adding to it every day. And there's just so many to filter through. So use those filters on the left. All the back to school templates are under seasonal. So pro tip there.
Oh, good to know. I wondered. I looked for back to school as I was talking, but I didn't see it. And I knew they were somewhere, but I didn't realize that. You guys, anybody that is not like actively drawing in the document or something right now, if you want to come back and look at my screen for a second, I want to just mention one thing that Katrina made me think of just now. So the Cami library is so awesome, right? But it's also a rabbit hole. So if you fall down the rabbit hole that is the Cami library, be aware too that there's a little bookmark icon at the top right of each of the activities or each of the templates. Okay, so like here's her decorate your own locker, which is super cute, because not only does it have the locker, but then it has a bunch of clip art and stuff like that. And then you can go in and you can use this little bookmark icon. Okay, and you can create, like what you're doing is you're adding it to what's called a collection. So you can actually add it to multiple collections. You can create collections there and all of that. So
look at that little t-shirt. It's so cute. I'm just like the library. I'm just in love with. There's so many like meet the teacher little templates. And I just had back to school night with my own kids who are in elementary school. And I'm telling you, these are really cute. I should have recommended them.
I know I thought about you because you've got a kindergartner this year. You're with your youngest having gone to kindergarten. And this is like the mindset, because Katrina, you guys, is a upper level science teacher. So she's, I love that she's like fallen into this like elementary world. Welcome, my friend. I'm so happy you're here. Lauren just asked a fantastic question, you guys. Hey, can I batch print in Cami? This would be useful for name tags and stuff like that. So I think I need to show you how you can batch print. The best way to do that is to use split and merge. So split and merge, here's what I'm going to do, guys. Okay, let me just back up before I jump into this. I get excited. Sorry. I'm going to just say, hey, I'm going to close out of our collaborative activity. Okay. And you guys can stay in it if you want. All right. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you the Cami dashboard and how to get started with Cami. And I want to start with this idea of batch printing and do a good example of how to print a bunch of stuff at once. Okay. So how did I get here to the Cami dashboard? I went to either cami.app or I clicked on the Google Chrome extension. Okay. So up here in the top right corner, if you're looking at my screen now, if you've left the collaborative activity, you're going to see this purple circle with a K in it. This is how you can get here. And this is an easy way to get to the library too. It's also an easy way to bring something in from your computer or your Google Drive. Okay. But if you want to create a way to be able to print a bunch of stuff at once, use split and merge. So for example, split and merge is going to allow you to split apart big files or bring together lots of files. So if I go to my Google Drive, okay, and hold on one second, I'm going to do, oh, okay. I thought we had some background noise, but I guess we're good. I don't have any name tags or anything name tags or anything to do. So I'm just going to show you like what it would look like with a different file. Okay. So forgive me for not having a
You could also grab from the library there, Avra.
Yeah,
if you go back to that selection screen and the last icon is the library, and then you could find your all about me's here under the seasonal activities.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, so if you found a bunch of stuff that you wanted, you could pull it in from the library in here. So I can hit open with Cami and it actually pulls it right in here. The other way to do this, guys, let me just show you, is in the library. If I go down to the bottom, do you see where it says split and merge right here? If you click on this, then anything that you click on in here, hold on, sorry. Here with this little icon right here, if you found a bunch of stuff and you wanted to print it all or put it all together, you can click, click, click. okay? And it will bring it all in to split and merge this way. So then I can hit open with split and merge. But to answer Lauren's question, Lauren, wherever you have your name tents, if they're on your computer, you click here. If they're saved in Google Drive, you put them here, okay? So yeah, it's just like, this is just two different ways to get to the same place. And then what happens is you bring each of these files in and they're all going to be like this. So if you've got 25 kids, you're going to have this big, like long thing with all the kids' name tents, and you're going to go like this, and you're going to drag them all up together. And let's pretend that these are name tents, okay, or whatever. You can pull up individual pages, and then this becomes one big PDF that you can hit export and download, and then you can print that. So let me know if that makes sense to you, Lauren. I know I was kind of a little all over the place there, but this is the best way also to print student work. So if students have turned in work and you have a folder of it in your Google Drive and you want to print a bunch of it at once. So if you've ever printed like Google Docs before, that your kids maybe have journal entries or essays or something, and you go and you print them one at a time, don't ever do that again. Instead, bring them in here. And I agree with you. This is magic in here. Okay. This is split and merge. Now, it also works to split things apart too. So has anyone ever ordered anything on Teachers Pay Teachers? And when you order it, it comes as a big slideshow or a big PDF file, and it has like the answer key in there. And you're like, what am I going to do with this? And then I've heard some teachers take that down and they print it all out, and then they make individual copies and stuff, right? So if you want to break something apart, okay, you can pull in something that's really, really big. So this file is just a PDF file, and some of you have been with me all morning, so you've seen me do this 3 times, but look, it's all one big thing. It made a copy of it, so it's not going to mess with your original, okay? But you can go like this, and you can make like your own, like, hey, I want page 3 and 5 or something like that together. So then you just rename it over here. Okay, so you can also do this. I was showing in my differentiation session, you can also do this for like different groups. If you have different groups doing different work, or you can get a bunch of files made. Or you guys, if we go back here, let's pretend that we made a packet, right, for students, and you want to make make a copy of it, and you're going to slightly change it for each group. You can hit duplicate. And then now this might be, maybe you switch around some of them, or the second group doesn't need this many this many pages. They need something different or whatever. So it's a file management utility, little program. It's free. Okay. It works with, and if you come in here and you forgot something, go to the bottom right, circle right here, and go to your Google Drive, or go back up to the library or whatever. Okay. So maybe you go, oh shoot, I need a Venn diagram. So you click here on Kami Library, you come on over and you type in Venn. You're going to get tons and tons of Venn diagrams. Okay. You pick the one you like, hit open, and it's going to throw it in here. Okay. And maybe you want it more than once. Look, there's a little duplicate. You can clone it, stick it up in here. You can delete. If you're not sure what this says, you want to see it bigger, you can go bigger with it. That's literally the hamburger writing template I used in 1997. I know I'm dating myself, but like, if you want to see what this looks like, you can zoom in, right? And then if you kind of go, oh, you know what, I don't want that one here. You can either delete it, or you could put it on its own row. So lots of possibilities, splitting things apart, merging things together. Okay. All right. So that was found, I'm going to close out of it. That was found on the Kami dashboard, and the Kami dashboard looks like this. Okay. You can get to the library, you can get to split and merge. You can also get to text recognition. You guys, text recognition is where you can take a picture with your phone of something, page in a book, a worksheet that your kids are doing, an anchor chart on your wall. Okay. And when you do, you can bring it in, use text recognition, and it won't just be a flat image anymore. It'll be something that can have stuff read to the kids. Okay. You can have read aloud and you can have dictionary. It becomes more interactive. Okay. Whereas typically if you take a photo of text, you can't do anything with it except maybe draw on top of it. Okay. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. You can click on text recognition. And then I have just a page on my desktop here, a screenshot. Okay. So it also works with screenshots. So a physical picture, well, a digital picture with your phone or, you know, a scanner or something like that, maybe, as well as a screenshot that you just use your computer to create. And then when you pull it in, look what it's doing. It's running what's called OCR, which stands for optical character recognition, which just means text recognition. You can click on Cami and then you can hit open. Okay. And so now this was just a picture of text, but now things like the dictionary tool work. So anything that you bring in, any PDF file or a Word file or a Google Doc or a slideshow, all of that will work automatically because it's all digital text. But if you take a photo of anything, you can do that as well in here. Okay. So be aware that that this dictionary tool is here for kids. The read aloud tool works really well as well. Okay. I had some questions last session about the read aloud tool. Like, can you change the language? If this were written in Spanish, we could change where it says US right here. I could click and I could go up and there's just tons of different voices and stuff, but these are all the Spanish ones. Okay. You can have kids also, you can change the speed in which things are read. So let me pull up actually just a little bit of a better file. Hold on one second. I'm trying to think what a good file is for elementary. I don't have a great one. So let me just use my same Pearl Harbor one that I use all the time, guys, forgive me. I know this is too high for most of our kids, but I want you to just hear like what the read aloud is like. So we can do this.
While reading, consider how you would have responded and reacted if you were the U.S.
So that's great, right? That's great. And it's that computer, like kind of robot sounding speak, and we can teach our kids to use that. It's a wonderful tool, but potentially even better would be you explaining what to do, right? Or you talking to them. So the comment tool over here has a voice recorder. It's called the voice comment tool. It's like an audio recorder. So what you could do instead is say, hey, boys and girls, I want you to really think about what would it have been like to be the president when the attack on Pearl Harbor happened? That was a long time ago. And I know it's weird to think about, but how would you have been feeling? So when you do this reading, I want you to think about it. So you guys being able to either explain, or you can actually read sections of text to your kids as well. And these little dots can go wherever. So you can teach your kids that when they see, and it can be whatever color. So when they see a pink dot, that's going to be you as the teacher explaining what to do or reading it to them, that kind of thing. You can do that. You can have as many of those little dots all over the page as you want. So you could record here and we could record over here. Okay. So thinking about maybe it's a diagram and you're putting a little dot in different spots on the diagram or different spots on a map. And here's a really cool trick. You can, and this would be something that you'd have to really work with your kids to do, but you could go up to the top and there's going to be a 3-line menu right here. If they click this, you can go down to where it says hide comments. When you hide comments, you guys, then all of a sudden, the comments aren't all over here where there might be so many of them that it's confusing. Instead, they're hidden behind the dot. So you can come over and you can rest your mouse, or your kids can rest their mouse on the dot and then here, watch. So you could record here and then hear it. We could record over here. Okay. So thinking about so you could have you pop up in different spots on the worksheet or on the activity in order to explain what to do or give some tips and tricks or just read the words for them. Okay. That's the audio that's the voice comment. It's an audio recorder. I want you to know that I have a school in New Jersey that uses this for reading fluency practice. So they have, I don't know if I have it here where I can show you, but yeah. So they have pages that look like this. What I did just now is I went to Google Drive and I brought something up and then I chose open with Cami. Okay. So what their students do is they use that voice comment tool, and teachers will put a timer in here in the form of a YouTube video, which I'll show you how to do in just a second. And then kids hit the button. Okay. And I have to make a copy, so forgive me, but if this is my file from another account, but they read the words. They do their reading fluency practice with either the voice comment tool or the video comment tool. Okay. Where, you know, video comment would be their front facing camera. Let me show you. I'm just going to do a blank page here. So over here, comment, video comment. So this could be them reading their reading fluency practice, or this could be them answering a question, or this could be them working with a partner and you ask them to record while they work with the partner, so that way we can talk about collaboration skills, or, you know, speaking and listening and things like that in the classroom. So all of these multimedia tools can be awesome ways to record the physical things that are happening in your classroom, right? Kids can use these tools if you want them to. You can use them as teaching tools, and you can also use them as feedback tools. So you could at any time, you know, give feedback to kids with the with voice comments or with video comments. You guys, if you've noticed, each time I put a dot in here, these dots can be different colors too. And in my classroom, a green dot meant go. Green meant go. It means we're getting started. It's probably going to be directions. It's probably going to be help for getting started doing the activity. A red dot meant stop and think. It was probably feedback from Ms. Robinson. It was probably, you know, me explaining that, hey, you need to go back and redo this part because, you know, there's a couple things you missed or something like that. Okay. And Katrina, I love what you just said about the option to do this when you're not going to be there, right? So thinking about, you know, when you're going to be out for a conference or you're going to be out ill for a couple of days. But also then sometimes we have kids who are chronically absent, or someone is out for an extended illness. Being able to, you know, give these kinds of instructions and do things like this in Cami can be really nice as well, because it's so much easier than putting it all in writing. And it's nice for parents too, if they're at home trying to help a student, it's nice for them to get to hear you or see you explain how to do it. And speaking of see you how to explain how to do it, you can also use the screen capture tool, which is like Screencastify. It lets you record a whole window, like your whole screen. So I could click here, and then now I'm recording. So I could record myself like working a math problem. Oh, that's yellow. You know, so I could do this kind of a thing and use it as a screen casting, you know, program, or I could be showing kids like, here's how you create a text box. So you click and then you click, you know, and then maybe you say, and this is how you can go and change the size of the font. And, you know, look, boys and girls, it's kind of hidden back over here, but there's a voice comment tool. Okay. So let me see if I can zoom a little bit, and it's still covered up. But if my screen were at like if I was zoomed in a different way on a different monitor, you'd be able to see the voice comment. You could show kids how to use the voice comment and things like that, where, I'm sorry, not the voice comment, the voice to text, where you can actually have kids speak in. So let me stop recording and show you what I'm talking about. Give it a second for it to save my little video there, and click right here. My name is Mary. Okay. I used Mary because there's no way it can spell Avra, but that is there for kids as well. Okay. So when you think about Cami's tools, there's obviously, you know, speech to text. There's recording audio. So that's a voice comment. There's recording video. The recording of video can happen as a comment, or over here, guys, add media. I can go to the camera tool right here and record video right here. So if I'm a student, I could do a book talk in here. I could answer a question in here. I could show you how I use my math manipulatives, and I found, I made 134 with base 10 blocks, by going like this and showing something down here. Okay. So that happens where it puts it right on the page then. Okay. It'll put it right here. So it can be in the margin if there's not a lot of room on the page, or if there's room on the page, you can have the video be right on the page as well. I feel like I've been talking a lot. We've got about 10 minutes left. Does anybody want to ask a question? Share something you're wondering about? Share something you're thinking about, something that's resonating with you, something you want to try in the classroom? Karina, what am I missing? What is my fried brain not talking about right now that we've got 10 minutes left with elementary teachers?
I think the biggest question is, once I've created these resources for my students, how do I get them to the students? We spend a lot of time recording instructions and, adding all this extra magic to these assignments. But I think one thing we haven't covered in this session is just how to get that out to our students.
So Katrina, do you think, should I just mention Google Classroom like I did in the first one? I know we've got people using all different learning management systems.
Yeah, I think let's run through, if Seesaw, let's show how to do that share link. And then if you're one of the integrations that we work with, so Google Classroom, Canvas, or Schoology, I'm going to throw some links in the chat for that too. And if there's time, Avra, you could show that. But yeah, I just want to make sure that we have some resources as we walk away for how to get these assignments to our students.
It's a great thing. Thank you. So you guys, let's look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Kami dashboard. And Katrina, I think a couple questions came in the chat, so let me know if I need to address any of them, but if not, maybe you could answer them. I'm going to grab a worksheet that I've got on my computer and just look at how we could push it out, make individual copies for students in a variety of ways. Okay, so to begin with, if you use Schoology, Google Classroom, or Canvas, your learning management system will make a copy for you. Okay, and I'll show you that in Classroom in just a second. For those of you that use Seesaw, you want to go back up, remember, to this share button. Okay, hold on, sorry, this needs to get saved to my Google Drive. Sometimes when I'm in a Zoom, it doesn't upload it quickly enough. So up here, clicking here, and this is going to be your link right here for students. Okay, if you were having them work collaboratively, you would give them this link. Seesaw users, if you want to make a copy for each student, you want to do this create individual copy right here. Okay, and remember, this is where you can go in and control the features as well. So even if you're making individual copies manually with Kami, you can go in and say, hey, I want them to have the text box, and I don't need them to have shapes tools, or maybe I don't want them to be able to have the camera right now because that's going to be distracting, and I don't want them doing an image search and all of that, right? So you could turn anything on and off that you want, as well as copy and paste. If you've got any elementary kids who are tech savvy enough to know how to go over and do some copying and pasting to get some words in there, get some pictures in there that you don't want them to have, you can turn off copy and paste as well. Okay, then this link right here is what you would put into Seesaw. So you would copy it. For those of you that might have,
right, hold on right there. Don't close that, please.
Okay.
All right, there was a question in the chat about how do we get resources if we create like a Meet the Teacher flyer and want to get that to families, not just students, right? So what Avra has just shown is how to share using a link in Kami. And if you are sharing a link with students, you could select my domain because all your students and your teacher account are on the same domain together. But what Avra has clicked, because you and I aren't on the same domain, Avra is not in your domain either, we have chosen to share with anyone who has the links. That's how you would share with parents. And if it's a newsletter or just informational and you only want them to look at it, you're going to click viewer. So that means they're not going to have the tools to write all over your newsletter or your meet the teacher. It's just view only. So that's how I would recommend getting it out to families. Go to the share button in Kami, change it to anyone with the link, make it viewer, and then grab that link. You can also, I saw lots of QR codes at back to school this week. Lots of QR codes that teachers can quickly, parents can quickly scan with their phones or devices before they leave. So both are great options.
Yeah.
Thanks, Avra.
Yeah, no, thank you. And the viewer can still watch the videos. Yeah, that's the cool thing about the videos, guys, is that they get attached to the document. So when you share the document, you're sharing the video too. You don't have to worry about changing sharing settings or anything like you do when you're using Screencastify. So yeah, it absolutely will work for you, Mary, for sure. And then this is, available too for kids that maybe have iPads. If you've got kids, in your classroom that have iPads. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is going to be through like these learning management systems like Schoology and Canvas and Google Classroom. And so like Katrina said, we've got, videos for you on how to do that. And you can contact me for help on how to do it. In Google Classroom, you hit create and you choose Kami assignment. Now, if you don't see Kami assignment, Google Classroom users, that means you need to get the Google Chrome extension installed, okay? Because that's how you'll get that integration. That Google Chrome extension is really the magic. And there's a link to how to get that Google Chrome extension back on my green page here. It's right here. It's this orange words right there. So in here in Google Classroom, you guys, this down here is where you would choose to control the features. And you would just go to Google Drive and grab whatever you've saved. If Kami saves something for you automatically, it's going to go to a folder called Kami Uploads. Okay, so this is where you're going to go in and find the stuff that you maybe have, you can see here's my Jot Spot, here's my Build Your Own Monster, the stuff that you've opened up in Kami. When it doesn't auto save, okay, it's going to go here into Kami Uploads. So now I pull in that file, it says make a copy for each student. I'm going to give it a title. You're going to do all your normal stuff over here and you can hit assign. And then that's going to make a copy for each student. Okay. And so I know we're almost out of time, guys. I do want to mention that when you're using a learning management system, I just want to give you a sneak peek into something really cool. Okay. When you're using a learning management system like Canvas, Schoology, Microsoft Teams, or Google Classroom, we also have a feature that's brand new, somewhat, that's called grade by page or called class view. It's migrating, it's changing over to being a different name right now. But let me show you where you find it. So like, let's say you go in and you're going to go in to do some grading and some assessing. Okay. You can come and click where it says grade by page. So if you click on these individually, you can do your grading and stuff like you normally would, but grade by page does this amazing thing where it puts all of the student work side by side. So you can scroll through it very easily. It's taken a minute because it's like working some serious magic right now. Okay, check this out. Give it one more second. Oh, did I click on the wrong one? I did. Hold on a second. That's not the one I wanted to do. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Mistakes. My brain is fried. Here it is. This is the one I wanted to show you. There it is. Grade by page. This one won't take as long. Okay. You'll see it puts all the student work right next to each other, just like we do on our desks where you like lay everything out. Check this out. I'm going to zoom a little bit so you can see it better. Look at this. All right. Here's Avra's and here's Cameron's assignment and here's Leslie's assignment. Here's Margie's. Like you can totally just scroll through. You can still go up and give grades. Okay. So I could go up and say, hey, Samantha, you get a 5 out of 10 because you got it wrong. I could mark up the page and, put a question mark, circle something. I could use the comment tool and say, hey, you did a great job trying, but try again, please. Something like that. You can return it to them. They can, change up their answers, whatever it is. Okay. So you can give individual feedback in here, but you can see everything in one place. So be on the lookout for that. It's either called grade by page or class view. I apologize for the ambiguity of that. Our creators are just, our engineers are just changing the name right now to try to make it as, easy for everyone to find as possible. So, so that's a little bit of the learning management system side of things, so that way, if you do use one of those kinds of systems, you can see what it would look like to make individual copies for kids and stuff like that. Okay. All right, guys, it is right at 12:50 for you. So I want to stop and be respectful of your time, but I do want to remind you that there is a slide deck here with more ideas. There is information with my email address here, and I have more ideas and help for you if you need it. Okay. And there's oodles of self-paced resources here. So free templates is that library. We have free tutorials and courses. We have all sorts of stuff. So if you want to do any kind of learning on your own, you totally can. All right. I'm glad. Kim, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. You guys, thanks for the comments in the chat. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But otherwise, thank you for being here. Okay. And enjoy the rest of the conference. You're welcome. You're welcome. I will stop my screen share unless anybody has questions. Thanks, Mary. I appreciate you being here and helping us out too. Have a good one. Great, Amy. That's what we want to hear. Awesome. If you do and you have trouble, just let us know. I will stop the